Good morning. Thank you for being here with me this morning in this morning mindfulness practice. I was thinking this morning about gratitude and how gratitude hooks you up to the highest form of energy. Whether you believe in God or just feeling good, you know that when you think about it, the times that you feel really good, really relaxed, really appreciative, everything runs smoother in your life. You feel happier, things seem to be easier, work is done with less effort. When you give thanks for the little things, when you appreciate what's going on, when you're happy and healthy, and you notice, life just gets better and better and better. And what do we think about? We become what we think about. That's what all the experts, all the greatest minds in the world have ever talked about or ever agreed upon, is that we become what we think about. My mentor, Bob Proctor, used to talk about a little book written by Wallace D. Wattles called The Science of Getting Rich. And he says there is an exact science. If you want to be wealthy in every area of your life, if you want to be richly blessed, pay attention to the science of getting rich. And Wallace Wattles writes, the first principle in the science of getting rich is, where is your thought energy going? Thought is the only power that can produce tangible riches from the formless substance. The stuff from which all things are made is a substance which thinks. A thought of form in this substance produces the form. Every form and process you see in nature is the visible expression of a thought in the original substance. If you are a religious person, this might shake you up a little bit, thinking that God created the earth and God created everything in it. If you believe that God created mankind, then you know it is through the works of our human hands that we bring things into reality. We have a thought, we think a thought. As we get focused on what it would look like when it's here in the now, in the physical form, ideas start to come. And the more you think about what it would look like, what it would feel like, maybe even getting your five senses involved, can you associate smells and tastes and touch? What would you hear if you were actually in the place, actually experiencing what you want to experience? What sounds might you hear? As God's highest form of creation, we have been gifted with five senses. We can hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. But our pets and the animals that roam the earth also have those same five senses. Some of them are more acute than ours. But we have been gifted with six mental faculties. We can imagine, we can think about what we really, really want. We can make decisions. We have a reasoning ability. We can think thoughts of a powerful nature, and then we attract to us more thoughts that are in harmony, in alignment, in resonance with those thoughts. We have a will. We can hold a thought on the screen of our mind and think about what that would feel like to be living that way. And the longer we focus our attention on the direction of what we want and getting emotionally involved, new ideas spring up. They flow to us as if out of the blue, out of the ether, out of the invisible realm around us. And ideas start to come, and we hold the picture with our will. And pretty soon, resources come to us, circumstances change, nicer people show up. We meet people we're meant to meet in order to fulfill our idea, our dream goal. We've been gifted with perception. We can use our mind to think thoughts of horror and poverty and abandonment and everything that's going wrong, or we can look around and see the beauty around us, the absolute perfection in nature. We can realize that things happen to move what we don't want out of our way in order to have something better, in order for beautiful new ideas to come in. And as we take action, life around us changes. Nothing is good or bad, big or small, but how we perceive it to be. We can compare something that's a huge problem. When you compare it to something else, it's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. It's a little pause in what's really going on. You have been gifted with an imagination. You can think beautiful thoughts of what would it be like if I was living my ideal. Little children think about being princesses or astronauts, and then they're told, put away childhood fantasies and learn what we tell you in school so that you can be a contributing member of society, a cog in the wheel, and do what you're told and build someone else's empire. What if you used your imagination to build an idea that no one else thought of, that would change the way people live, change the way you think, change the way this world lives? What would that look like? You can imagine anything. You can imagine poverty, or you can imagine wealth. You can imagine a button. You can imagine a castle. Imagine how your life would change if you got clear on a beautiful idea and more ideas came to you, and then the resources showed up. Bob Proctor used to always say that nothing happens unless you make a decision. Once you decide what you really, really want and focus on it and give energy to it, fall in love with it, everything necessary will come at the right time. And you have to realize that you are always in the right place at the right time for the right reason. And as you develop faith and well-being, everything good flows at an accelerated rate when you are at ease and allowing it. Relax and let what you truly desire to come to you. Use your imagination. And another beautiful, wonderful gift you have been given is your intuitive factor, your intuition. When you get an idea, to call someone to do something, if it feels good, if you know it's coming from your higher self, a message from God, you've tapped into universal energy and you're feeling connected to the source of all, and you get an idea, act on that idea. No matter how silly or crazy or big or scary it seems, your intuition will show you the way, will guide you. You might look at it as your gut instinct, but it is a higher energy that you can tap into and trust that everything will happen for the greater good. There are things that have to move out of your life to make room for what you truly desire. You have another great gift, your memory. Instead of using terrible old memories that hurt you or hinder you or hold you back, what if you started to use memory to think clearly about what you want, how that feels, and pretend that it's already happened? And your subconscious mind will filter out what doesn't match. Your reticular activating system in your brain will start to show you evidence that what you really want is here and now. Use your beautiful gift of memory to think over and over and over about what you really want as if it's already here now. And everything you want shows up. That's how thought energy works. Wallace Wattles said, "First we assert that there is one original formless substance from which all things are made. All the seemingly many elements are only different presentations of one element. All the many forms found in organic and inorganic nature are only different shapes made from the same stuff, and this stuff is thinking stuff. A thought held in it produces the form of the thought. Thought in thinking substance produces shapes. A human being is a thinking center capable of original thought. If any one of us can communicate our thought to original thinking substance, we can cause the creation or formation of the thing we think about." To summarize this, there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. You can form things in your thought, and by impressing your thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing you think about to be created. Wallace Wattles says, "I can prove these statements by both logic and experience. Reasoning back from the phenomenon of form and thought, I come to one original thinking substance. And reasoning forward from this thinking substance, I come to the individual's power to cause the formation of the thing one thinks about. By experiment, I find this reasoning to be true, and this is my strongest proof. If one person who reads this book gets rich by doing what I say to do, That is evidence in support of my claim. Furthermore, if every person who does what I say to do gets rich, that is positive proof until someone goes through the process and fails. The theory is true until the process fails. And this process will not fail because every person who does exactly what I say to do will get rich. Wallace Wattles says that an individual gets rich by doing things in a certain way. In order to do so, you must become able to think in a certain way. Your way of doing things is the direct result of the way you think about things. To do things in the way you want to do them, you will have to acquire the ability to think the way you want to think. This is the first step toward getting rich. To think what you want to think is to think truth regardless of appearances. You have the natural and inherent power to think what you want to think, but it requires far more effort to do so than it does to think the thoughts which are suggested by outside appearances. To think according to appearances is easy. To think truth, regardless of appearances, is laborious. It requires expenditure of more power than any other work you have to perform. There is no labor from which most people shrink as they do from that of sustained and consecutive thought. It is the hardest work in the world. This is especially true when truth is contrary to appearances. Every appearance in the visible world tends to produce a corresponding form in the mind which observes it. This can only be prevented by holding the thought of the truth. Wallace Wattles says to look upon the appearance of disease will produce the form of disease in your own mind and ultimately in your body. Instead, you must hold the thought of the truth, which is that there is no disease. Disease is only an appearance, and the reality is health. To look upon the appearance of poverty will produce corresponding forms in your own mind. Instead, you must hold to the truth. There is no poverty, there is only abundance. It requires power to think health when surrounded by the appearances of disease, or to think riches when in the midst of the appearances of poverty. But when you acquire this power, you become a master mind. You can conquer fate. You can have what you want. This power can only be acquired by getting a hold of the basic fact which is behind all appearances, that there is a thinking power. There is one thinking substance from which and by which all things are made. Then we must grasp the truth that every thought held in this substance becomes a form, and that a person can impress thoughts upon it so as to cause them to take form and become visible things. When we realize this, we lose all doubt and fear because we know that we can create what we want to create. We can get what we want to have, and we can become what we want to be. As a first step toward getting rich, we must believe the three fundamental statements. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. You can form things in your thought, and by impressing thought upon formless substance can cause the thing you think about to be created. Wallace Wattles and Bob Proctor suggest that you don't ask why these things are true, nor speculate as to how they can be true. Simply take them on trust, on faith. The science of getting rich begins with the absolute acceptance of this faith. The first step toward getting rich is to convey the idea of your wants to the formless substance. And in order to do so, it becomes necessary to relate yourself to the formless substance in a harmonious way. Wallace Wattles says to secure this harmonious relationship is a matter of such primary and vital importance that he's going to give some instructions which, if you follow them, will be certain to bring you into perfect unity of the mind with God. The whole process of mental adjustment and attunement can be summed up in one word: gratitude. First, you believe that there is one intelligent substance from which all things proceed. Secondly, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. And thirdly, you relate yourself to it through a feeling of deep and profound gratitude. Many people who order their lives rightly in all other ways are kept in poverty by their lack of gratitude. Having received one gift from God, they cut the wires which connect them with Him by failing to make acknowledgement. It is easy to understand that the nearer we live to the source of wealth, the more wealth we shall receive. It is also easy to understand that a soul that is always grateful lives in closer touch with God than one who never looks to Him in thankful acknowledgement. When good things come to us, the more gratefully we fix our mind on the supreme power, the more good things we will receive, and the faster they will come. The reason for this is simply that the mental attitude of gratitude draws the mind into closer touch with the source from which the blessings come. Gratitude will lead your mind out along the ways by which things come, and it will keep you in close harmony with creative thought and prevent you from falling into competitive thought. Good things you already possess have come to you because of certain laws of the universe. There is a law of gratitude, and if you are to get the results you seek, it is absolutely necessary that you should observe this law. Gratitude alone can keep you looking toward the infinite and prevent you from falling into the error of thinking that the supply of riches is limited. The supply is infinite. The grateful outreaching of your mind in thankful praise to the supreme power is a liberation or expenditure of force. It cannot fail to reach that to which it is addressed. And as a result, God responds with an instantaneous movement toward you. a statement of psychological truth is, draw nigh unto God and he will draw nigh unto you. And if your gratitude is strong and constant, the reaction in the formless substance will be strong and continuous. The movement of the things you want will always be toward you. Notice the grateful attitude that Jesus took, how he always seems to be saying, I thank thee, Father, that thou hearest me. You cannot exercise much power without gratitude, because it is gratitude that keeps you connected with infinite power. The value of gratitude does not consist solely in getting more blessings in the future. Without gratitude, you cannot keep from being displeased with things as they are. The moment you permit your mind to dwell with displeasure on things as they are, you begin to lose ground. You fix your attention on the common, the poor, the squalid, and the mean, and your mind takes the form of these things. You then, through the power of your mind, transmit these forms or mental images to the formless, and then the common, the poor, the squalid, and the mean will come to you. To permit your mind to dwell upon the inferior is to become inferior, and to surround yourself with inferior things. On the other hand, to fix your attention on the best is to surround yourself with the best and to become the best. The creative power within us makes us into the image of that to which we give our attention. We are thinking substance, and thinking substance always takes the form of that which it thinks about. The grateful mind is constantly fixed upon the best, therefore it tends to become the best. It takes the form or character of the best and will receive the best. Also, faith is born of gratitude. A grateful mind continually expects good things, and expectation becomes faith. The reaction of gratitude upon your own mind produces faith. Take a deep breath in and imagine what it is that you would love physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, every area of your life. Take the time to give thanks for your life, for everything in it, and to write down what it is you truly desire. If you focus on the best, if the supply is unlimited, you ask and get into the harmonious vibration of already having what you desire. It seems in no time at all, it becomes yours. Be grateful. Write out what you are grateful for in the present tense of that which you desire. Everything that you want. Give thanks that it is already yours. Write it down. Focus on how it feels and take that energy with you into today and into the days ahead. Thank you for being here in this morning mindfulness practice. Create a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. Thank you.